Bitcoin's sitting just below $100,000 right now. It's a major milestone. I realize it's broken all-time high, but in this video I want to explain why I think the actual parabolic bull move for Bitcoin and crypto has not even happened yet. We are just at the beginning stages here. Hit the subscribe and like on the way in. Let's jump into the video. This is a very random video. I'm in my car. I like to work from my car. I just get out. I work in a parking lot somewhere, and I came across some news that I wasn't aware of, and I really wanted to bring it up in this video because it speaks directly to this theory that Bitcoin and crypto still have a very nice bull market ahead. And I'm also going to present to you one of our new risk models. This is the Bitcoin risk model, crypto capital venture risk model for Bitcoin, and this backs up the data even more. So let's start with the news that I just saw. It is this: QE is here. Federal Reserve bought $20 billion worth of 3-year bonds, largest single-day purchase since 2021. I don't know if I want to sit here and just say QE's here, but I will say this is speaking directly to what we've been tracking. That is this green line on this chart, on the Bitcoin chart zoomed out, QT coming to an end, QT slowing down. If we think about monetary cycles and what the Fed is doing, we've been in contraction phase. We're waiting for bull market expansion phase. This is what it looked like back here in 2020 in that bull market. That's what we're waiting for. Now we're getting signals of this happening. Stealth QE, it could be called. Today, the U.S. Treasury auctioned 3-year Treasury bonds. They tried to sell $150 billion, but only sold $78 billion. Look at the Fed line item, SOMA. This is the Fed buying $20 billion themselves. So this actually came with a link, and this is what it's looking like. And it does appear that the Fed is a distinct bidder along primary dealers. So this looks to be happening. And why that is so important, we can even go to a daily chart, is because I realize we're in this multi-month consolidation on the daily. It's choppy. People are kind of like concerned of where market cycle is right now. I put on here all the FOMC meetings as just kind of something to keep in mind, because tomorrow's FOMC and everybody's kind of always just talking about it every month. It's the same thing every single month, and then it comes and goes. And I put this here as an illustration of that. This is one little just kind of zoomed in meeting, but look how many times, and I'm going all the way back here, this swing high in March 2024. I have like the last 8 or so FOMC meetings on here, but notice FOMC meeting, everybody I'm sure freaking out about what was going on there. We dipped, oh no, bear market. And then we kind of exited that. FOMC meeting, we dipped, right? Bear market. And then we exited into the next FOMC meeting. My point is, this story, this continued story of just short-term chop, especially around FOMC meetings, the volatility that is involved there, it's probably going to be here tomorrow. So I'm bringing that up because if you're looking at a Bitcoin chart right now, and I want to go look at this risk model for Bitcoin to talk about the macro, which is way more important than the zoomed in. If you're looking at this chart on the FOMC, or with context of the FOMC that's happening tomorrow, things to keep in mind: we have moving average support that's happening to the downside. If markets react negatively, we have all these support areas. The 200 at 90,000, the 50 is at 87,000, the 20 even is at 92,000. But I want to make very important note of this. We're kind of, if you think about this last, consolidation and the exit of the consolidation, we're kind of in this moment here, right? You see these moving averages starting to pivot above and start trending upwards. This is what's been happening on Bitcoin charts. So we can talk about downside. We can look at downside support on the short term, but I want to make note, if tomorrow comes and goes, and who knows what type of potential bullish tariff stuff is going on. Besant today talking about the tariff deals. I think they have like 1,000 conversations going on right now. I think tariff deals are imminent. If that fear subsides, as we're getting these headlines, and as we're getting a slowing down of the contraction of the Fed, well, now when we're zoomed out on a Bitcoin chart, we can start seeing how, we're not kind of in this environment back here entering a bear market, as I think many are kind of a little concerned with on a zoomed out Bitcoin, like we're about to enter a bear market. This red line was quantitative tightening basically beginning. We're talking about quantitative tightening starting to slow down, and we're starting to see signs of that. That is major news. In terms of how I started the video, just discussing, we're kind of in a pre-bull market phase. It sounds crazy because Bitcoin's sitting at $94,000. But the reason I'm saying that is because even our risk model that we have on Bitcoin over here, it's sitting at 51. And this is a completely custom built risk model. This is a crypto capital venture risk model. The data goes back ridiculous to 2010 here on this chart. But what I want to point something to your attention. If we start zooming in on the model itself and kind of where we are, we noted that we're in the 50s, right? If you go back and you look at pre-bull areas, right? So last cycle in the 50s, there's Bitcoin in the 50s. We've not had this overheated, crazy high risk, in the 90s, overbought environment for Bitcoin. This has been a very healthy, steady growth for Bitcoin right now. And so you can take that in the 50s. This was pre-bull market area in 2020. You go back here, and there's a lot of people talking about how 2017 is kind of a little bit more likened to the current bull market that we're in. But look at the pre-bull market area for Bitcoin in the 50s, hitting 60, consolidating back down in the 40s. Does all this sound familiar? We just consolidated into the 40s, right? And then we have a swing high, hitting 70s, and then getting back there, kind of a little bit of consolidation before going higher into that overbought bull market parabolic move. So you can just see these 50s that Bitcoin is really consolidating at for, really, if you look at this, since March 2024, this is such a pre-bull market area as far as this crypto capital venture risk model is concerned. There are so many different pieces of data, on-chain data, monetary cycle data, all of these other things we're talking about, but I just really wanted to give a nice representation of what this is looking like from a risk standpoint. Bitcoin, and you start looking at altcoins, they're looking even better, really, in terms of the fact that the bull market has really not begun for altcoins yet. So I wanted to bring this news up because I think it's important. It's not the only thing, but it's one big thing. We're waiting for that Fed policy pivot, and we might start getting right now, as we're seeing with that news, kind of the first glimpse of that and what the Fed is doing. So really, this is very big if you're a macro investor, and that's really why I wanted to do this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Crypto, I think, has so much going for it right now, and that's why it's the macro story that is most important. Of course, I'm just like you. I'm also tracking the shorter term, so I wanted to mention that. But I appreciate you cruising through. If you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe, smash that like button. I will see you in the next video. God bless.